All right, we're going to just take a quick look at reviewing graphing y equals mx plus b. When we're working with y equals mx plus b, we are looking at the slope y-intercept form. Remember that slope, the m value, is the rise over the run. Now, I prefer to associate any negative value for the rise and run, such as this case here, 3/2. This equation could also be written as y equals negative 3/2. Notice that I've broken the negative sign in front of the equation, x plus 1. So I've moved it outside the equation versus being inside the bar here, right? This part is all together where this part is now separate. These are exactly the same. Good practice, associate that negative sign with the top number with our rise and run. So we rise up and down based on the sign, and then we always run to the right. So always run right. If we take a look at these two equations, they're pretty easy to graph. We start with our b value, that is positive 1. I put a point here on the graph at positive 1. From that point, not from 0, but from that point, I can now count out my rise and run. So in this case, my rise is negative 3, meaning going down negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, 2. I now have a second point on the graph. If I wanted, I could even get another point, down 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2. There's another point. I have points on the graph. I only need 2, but I could put more. But now I can connect my dots. I'll run that all the way across, and I get my line. Don't just put a line between the 2 points, because that is called a line segment, not a line. It doesn't represent the graph. The graph does continue, and that's why we put the arrows on as well, to note that we are continuing. Now, the only difference here is that we have a positive slope. Notice negative slope here. We have a positive slope here. Process is the same though. Plot your y-intercept at negative 4 and your rise over run, 1/2. You got my 2 points. I can take my line and connect the dots. As best I can too, I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting the intersection line. I'm trying not to go off and veer off. You'll notice that if I veer off, I'll do this in red and veer, or I'll do the actual line first. So I'm trying to hit the exact intersection of these points. So I have my exact intersection. If I start to veer off, so I made these really big dots, and say I kind of went here on the bottom of it, notice how much I'm off already. You can see right here, and if I do it in red, you can see I'm significantly veering off the line. And that's not what we want. So we don't want this red line. Try and hit those intersections. That's why sometimes it's good to put 2 or 3 points down, because if we follow that up 1/2, we've hit that next point. Up 1/2, notice I'm hitting all those points nice and accurately. And that's graphing our lines using y equals mx plus b.